This is an esoteric decode of the film The Poseidon Adventure. The film is about a ship called Poseidon that overturned in a tsunami on New Year's Eve, leaving its passengers to scramble to safety by climbing to the bottom of the ship in hopes of rescue. The story is an allegory for our world as we live on a ship of overturned consciousness, and we must go to the bottom of our minds, our subconscious, to find our way out and return home. The main characters in the film are introduced so that we can see their personalities. Each one of them has some gumption and challenges authority. This is a necessary trait in finding your way to the surface. Gene Hackman plays the preacher, who leads a small group of 9 to the surface. Oddly enough, he later played Lex Luthor in 1978's Superman. Here, he also challenges the Son of God, the main preacher whom he works for. Here, Hackman is the embodiment of Poseidon himself, leading the people home. For the preacher to say, "Pray to the part of God within you," is a very controversial statement. This flies in the face of what the church would teach. In a way, Hackman here is the adversary. The tidal wave represents the sine wave, which is why the moon is behind the wave. The moon is said to be in control of waves, but this is not water waves, but rather sine waves of this illusory world. The wave represents the beast or the ball, the torus field. When consciousness falls, it falls to the lower part of the zodiac wheel, which is the flipping of the yin-yang of duality, the positive-negative cycle of the story. Preacher tells them the truth, that the only way out is to climb the Christmas tree, which is symbolic of the spine within you. The only way out of this ship of fallen consciousness, this inverted world, is for you to raise the Kundalini energy from the base of the spine, to climb your Jacob's ladder to the top of the head, so you light up your tree within. Arrogance, fear, superiority, imposed authority, all of this is ego mind. They cling to the ego and refuse to see outside the box of cubed consciousness, the physical. They cannot see past what they know or what they see. Preacher appeals to them one last time, and they hold firm. Preacher says, "If you stay here, you will certainly die," which sounds a lot like the Lord speaking to Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, warning them not to eat of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. However, this is flipped. Preacher is telling them that if they do not eat of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, they will surely die. So Hackman is the serpent, the adversary to the Lord, which is Yahweh, the false god, the ego. This is the god of fear, the external god, the one that the preacher's boss serves. Water bursts into the ship, and preacher's prophecy has come true. Suddenly, the others who couldn't see before now see, and they panic, but it's too late. They did not prepare. One must prepare through meditation in order to be calm through the storm. Once the storm hits, those who have not prepared will panic and drown in their own fear. They panic, rushing for the Christmas tree. Suddenly they see the truth and they want out, but the fear prevents them from getting out. Their fear toppled the Christmas tree because this is what happens within you. If your cerebrospinal fluid is not clear, your chakras are not open, you're not on Jacob's ladder, meaning the middle path, you cannot ascend. Your train will be derailed. Your Christmas tree will fall. But also, if you, like the preacher, try to help someone who is trying to climb out of fear, they will only drag you down. If they have not done the work, you cannot do anything to help them. God helps those who help themselves. As the 10 of them progress up the ship, they encounter others who are migrating to the front of the ship. Progressing up the ship is symbolic of ascension, rising up the levels or decks of consciousness. The doctor believes the only way out is forward to the bow, while the preacher says it's to the engine room. The engine is the heart of the ship, which is why he's headed there. These people are at least trying to find a way out, similar to what the preacher's crew are doing, but they're following the wrong path. They're on another pillar. This process they are now going through is the journey out of the mind maze. As they wander through the levels of the ship, they are wandering through the mind maze of the illusory world. The only way out is the green exit, the heart, which is the middle path, Jacob's ladder, or the engine room. The ship represents consciousness, the world, and the body. So they must join the heart in the chest with the heart in the head, the pineal gland. The others are merely following their head, which is why they are on one of the 2 pillars of illusion. The engine room represents the fornix. Engine is jinn or genie. It's also Genesis, where all things originate in the head, the beginning. This is why the preacher is played by Gene Hackman, and why Mr. Rogo accuses him of being God himself. The gene is the DNA, it's the pineal gland, and it's in the rear of the ship or the back of the head. It's also found next to the propellers, which is the hippocampus. The young woman has been afraid all the way, and James has helped her every step of the way. She was terrified to climb the ladder in the shaft after Akers fell, and now she can't swim. James helps her every time, but she perseveres in the face of her fears. When they reach the engine room, it's on fire. They climb to the top where there's a door they must open. The group just went through baptism from earth, by water, into air, and now baptism by fire, the 4 stages of consciousness. On the way, there's another explosion and Rogo loses his wife, the only thing he ever loved. Yet, he was awful to her. Every step of the way, Rogo has challenged the preacher. He seems to be the Judas in this moment, turning against Preacher. He even blames Preacher for her death. It's easier to blame someone else, but the truth is, Rogo was holding her hand when the explosion went off, so if anyone is to blame, it's either him or Linda. Rogo must take responsibility for his own actions. He's the one who decided to follow the preacher. No one forced him. In the Bible it says, "Behold, there was a great earthquake, for the angel of the Lord descended from heaven and came and rolled back the stone from the door and sat upon it." So here we have the earthquake, and then preacher must unlock the door. The door is blocked because this is the door to the fornix, the foramen. It's only for amen. Only Amen can open the door. This is why the preacher must be the one to stop the steam by turning the valve. Preacher shouts out to God, "Why hast thou forsaken me?" just as he's about to be crucified. Preacher hands his authority over to Rogo because he knows Rogo is strong enough to lead the others despite him being the one to challenge him every step of the way. Preacher did his job. It was to guide the others to the door. Rogo was a policeman, which is battling the poles, the red and the blue, always by the book. Rogo means rogue or one who likes to argue or contentious. He has no one to argue with anymore. Both the preacher and his wife are dead. Preacher and Linda represented the middle bridge and the right hemisphere of the brain, which are both gone now because the policeman has bridged the gap. He has cast his net to the right side as they have made it to the gate. There's no more duality battle. Losing them both in the fire is like the atomic explosion in the head, when the 3 prongs of Poseidon's trident merge, mastering the 3 pillars. This is the 88 gate. Rogo rolls the stone, the door, away so they can enter the engine room, the fornix. Rogo says, "My God, there's somebody up there. The God within you is up there waiting for you to knock." After all the resistance he gave Preacher, Rogo finally sees that Preacher was right. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please show your support. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and contribute. Contributions over $30 will gain access to additional bonus material as a token of my appreciation. So please be sure to include your email address. Check out my website, join the Discord group, shop in my store. All links are in the description box below. Thanks for watching. Hope you're having a great day. Bye for now.